Snapper may be over the ball, but his feet must be behind the neutral zone, and no part of his person other than his hands on the ball may be beyond the foremost point of the ball. So that is, and I'll give you an overhead view of the snapper. All right, you got the ball. The snapper can have one or two hands on the ball. This is the foremost part of the ball. His hand can be here, technically in the neutral zone, but you won't call that. If some snappers you might find go down in a 4-point stand where they have one hand on the ball and the other hand on the ground. If that's the case, you want to make sure that that ballless hand is not in the neutral zone, or else he's in violation of 711.
Not beyond. Can't be.
It could be in the neutral zone, it could be beyond.
Beyond the neutral zone. Yeah, thank you. That's what I meant. Okay, before the snap, the snapper may lift the ball for lateral rotation, but he may not rotate it end for end or change the location or fail to keep the long axis of the ball at right angles to the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage, and the ball should be perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. If the snapper wants to rotate the ball, and umpires, you hear this a lot, they'll ask you to, can I have my laces to the left? Can I have my laces down? I like to tell the snapper, you can, and show him what a lateral rotation is. This is the lateral rotation. You turn it this way, all right? You cannot flip it over. You can't turn it this way, so it's parallel to the line of scrimmage. But the snapper with one hand can twist it laterally. Before the snap, following the ready for play, and after touching the ball, the snapper shall not remove both hands from the ball. Keep one hand on the ball at all times. You can't make any movement that simulates a snap or fail to clearly pause before the snap. And following his adjustment, he cannot lift or move the ball other than an illegal snap. And if you were to do that, it would be a snap infraction. It's a dead ball penalty, and it's a 5 yards. The signals are dead ball foul, and then we use a false start signal as a snap infraction to indicate a snap infraction. So umpires, when you see that happen, or anybody from the wing, anybody who sees that snap infraction occur.
First time all year.
When you see that,
You call me again?
you want to rush in and kill the ball, kill the play right away, because it is a dead ball foul. You don't want the snap to get off. All right, 2017 is a new rule change. That's Rule 716. Player makes contact with the ball prior to the end of the snap, or a defensive player makes contact with the hand or arms of the snapper prior to snapping and releasing the ball. You might have seen this in the game. You got that defensive tackle sits there and he swats. You know, tries to beat the snap, and he's going to try to swap that ball, slap the snapper's hand. If he does that, that's going to be encroachment. That's a new rule.
So Smitty, it's after the snap, so by the time he takes that ball and snaps it to the quarterback, it's still a snap, right?
For this rule?
Yes.
No, this rule applies, this is after the ready for play has been given, and after the snapper has placed his hands on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, it would occur prior to the snap.
During the snap.
During
Or during the snap.
Right, but what they're trying to do is keep that defensive player from slapping the ball while he's sending it back.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is still a snap until the quarterback, the snap ends.
Right.
And the snap doesn't end until it's delivered to the quarterback.
That's right.
So if they slap it, then that's a foul.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a dead ball foul.
Yes, it's a dead ball
Even though the
foul.
snap might have gotten off,
It's still a
that's
dead
going
ball
to be a
foul.
dead ball foul.
Right.
Touches the ground on back up.
Point. All right, signal for that is going to be Dead ball foul, 2 signals. You give a dead ball foul, referees, and then you do your encroachment signals. And if you're reporting this foul to the referee, let him know what you got and tell him, it's an encroachment. Yeah, but snap infraction, but it's gonna go down. I mean, no, that's gonna be a encroachment. Right. Why'd you say snap infraction? Okay, yeah, encroachment. All right, true or false? A shift or a feigned charge that simulates action at the snap or any act that is clearly intended to cause B to encroach is a false start.
True.
That's right, Rule 7.1.7, after the ball is marked ready for play and before the snap begins, no false start shall be made by an A player. It is a false start if A shifts or feigns charge simulates action at the snap, any act is clearly intended to cause B to encroach, or any A player on his line between the snapper and the player at the end of his line, after having placed his hands on or near the ground, moves his hands or makes a quick movement. Good? And there you go, that's your false start. Those are your signals for the false start penalty. Bonus, what's the distance penalty on a false start? 5 yards. All right, let's take a closer look with a case play on 7.1.7b. It's 4th and 4 from A's 35-yard line. K comes to the line of scrimmage in a scrimmage formation. After calling a few signal, A1 says shift. All 11 players then make a movement. Some players move to a new position for a scrimmage kick formation, while 4 interior linemen remain in place and move from a hands on thighs position, upright position, and then finally to a 3-point stance. So you may see this. They're down like this. He says shift, rises up, comes down into a 3-point stand. All right. In this case, this is kind of a judgment call here. So this could be called a false start if the covering official, the one who calls that false start, determines that it was designed to cause B to encroach. So some scenarios, what would tip you off that may have been designed to cause B to encroach?
Not doing it every time.
That was good, very good. 4th and 4, 4th and short. Something that you haven't been doing all night. Yeah. So it could be ruled a false start if the covering official determines that it was designed to cause B to encroach. In judging the offensive team's intent, the game officials should consider whether players move to a new position, the speed and abruptness of their movement, the down and distance, and if any player pretends to have the ball or otherwise simulate action at the snap with the start of the play. If false start causes B to encroach, only the false start is penalized. True or false?
True.
All right. An illegal snap or other snap infraction causes the ball to remain dead. That is a dead ball penalty. Correct. A scrimmage down has to start with a legal snap. So an illegal snap causes the ball to remain dead. And there are your signals. All right, hand in the ball. Rules 7.3.1, 2, and 3. Talk about that a little bit. So any player can hand the ball backward at any time. No player may hand the ball forward except during the scrimmage down before a change of possession, provided both players are in or behind the neutral zone, and it is to a lineman who has clearly faced his end line by moving both feet in a half turn and is at least 1 yard behind the line when he receives the ball. Everyone clear on that? No player may hand the ball forward except during a scrimmage down before a change of possession, provided both players are in or behind the neutral zone, and it is to a back or a teammate who, at the snap, was on the end of his line and was not the snapper, nor was he adjacent to the snapper. You guys kept in mind this pretty good. All right, during a scrimmage down after a change of team possession, no player may hand the ball forward to a teammate. So you got a interception on the run back. The B player that's running the ball back, he cannot hand that ball forward to a teammate. If you were to do so, illegal handing is a 5-yard penalty, and your signal is signal 35, which is the referee's facing the press box, and he's got his hand behind his back and he's moving it in this fashion. That's indicate the illegal handing. And if there's a loss of down associated with that, loss of down signal.
I got,
Yes, sir.
got a question. I've always wondered and thought about, going back to the second part of that rule, where you hand the ball to a back or a teammate, who had the snap was on the end of the line, or it was not the snapper, or it was not adjacent to the snapper. If the snapper takes a full turn with his feet and faces his goal,
line.
and he's a yard back, now is he legal? Or if the guy adjacent to him does that, is that legal? That's my question.
This,
If it was not the snapper.
yes, it can't be the snapper.
But say it again now?
It cannot be the snapper.
So the snapper, although he does that, it still cannot be him, is what we're saying.
Right.
Okay, so now my biggest question is the guy that's adjacent to the snapper, and he qualifies as a lineman in the
Right.
first part of that, can he not do that?
No.
No, not
No,
the
adjacent.
players that are adjacent to, in other words, I'm gonna just use this term loosely, the guards.
Okay, I got you.
Yes, sir?
Does a change of possession, is there a purpose to report a loss of down since each series was start on first?
Yeah, that's a good question. You won't report a loss of down on a change of possession infraction like this because, for B, because B never had it down to begin with. And that's the simplest way I know of putting it.
Series had to start.
Thank you. That's even a better way. Mr. Hudson said that their series hadn't started. Does that make sense?
And if it's the last play of a quarter, the period is over because it carried a loss of down provision.
Okay.
What do we know?
Right. Yeah.
Say that one more time?
You said if it was, if time runs off the clock.
Game's over.
We got three last play of the quarter. Yeah, last play of the quarter.
You would not do it on time, Dan.
And this is to address your question in the back. The loss of a down penalty does not apply when there has been a change of team possession. Yes, sir.
I'm a little bit confused about something. The first sentence under the first big paragraph, a lineman who has clearly faced his end line by moving both feet in a half turn at least 1 yard behind his line when he receives the ball, that's legal, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Why can't it be the center?
It's because it says accept the center.
No, it says, no, it doesn't. It does not. It says, the second line under that says a back or teammate who at the snap was on the end of his line. So that's saying if the center's on the end of his line, he can't do that.
Right.
Or if a guard is right next to the center, if they're in a regular 7-man position, that center's in the middle, he legally can take that ball.
Right. Right, that's not, yeah.
Bruce, am I wrong on that?
This is,
That's correct, Joseph.
Huh?
But
As
look
long as he's at least 1 yard behind the
look
line.
at 2B.
Y'all are too concerned on the center can't do that. The only way the center can't do that is if he's on the end of the line. If he's not on the end of the line, he can do that.
Correct.
That's a good point, Jody.
Correct.
Now put the phone away.
I'll buy that.
Correct.
Hey,
Okay.
what does the second half of B say? Part B is the snapper. And
My-
was
my
not the
concern was-
snapper or
My
nor
concern was,
adjacent.
Jody, is that
No, it says at the end of the line.
if the snappers, my concern was that the snapper's on the end of the line.
Then he
What it
can't
says,
do it.
right, but it also says, or the player adjacent to him, so if the snapper's on the end of the line, means the guard can't do it, but that was my question.
Right.
Okay,
But-
so because as I read it,
Unless-
I'm looking at the guard as being a lineman.
No, wait a minute, no,
qualified.
Sam, hold on a minute. If the snapper's on the end of the line,
Can't do it.
the guard next to him
Is adjacent.
would be
Can't do
able,
it.
would be able to do it.
No, he
because
can't, he can't.
He's not at the end of the line. A back or a teammate who had the snap was on the end of the line. He's not on the end of the line now.
Yeah,
But
one
he's
of them,
adjacent to
yeah,
it.
he could have one, he could have another one, remember there's two, you can have two linemen on either side of the snapper. Yeah, so if the snapper's on the end of the line, he may still have another lineman adjacent to him.
Only the person on the end of the line can't do it.
Or adjacent to him. Or adjacent to him.
Right.
But after teammate who had the line.
That's why I asked that question.
Or Jason.
Line.
And it's not the
I
snapper.
still think, because what it's saying there is, if the man adjacent to the snapper is on the end of the line, then he's ineligible to do it. That's the way I'm reading.
Well,
I don't think that's it.
has anybody ever seen that? No. Never, I rest my case.
So when we say it is yes,
All right, guys, all right, guys, all right.
All right, we beat that horse. All right, here's the situation. Quarterback A1 takes the snap and hands the ball forward to a back, A2, and the handing is done behind or in or beyond the neutral zone. Those are your scenarios. So the ruling is going to be A and B, the handing is legal because it was behind or in the neutral zone. Beyond the neutral zone, and C, that handing is a foul. So it's the position of the ball that determines whether it's behind, in, or beyond the neutral zone. However, it's the position of the player recovering the ball, the one who receives the handing, that determines whether or not it's forward handing or not. You understand? All right, let's talk about illegal forward passes. All right, so illegal forward pass includes a pass after team possession has changed during the down, a pass from beyond the neutral zone, any second and subsequent forward passes thrown during the same down, a pass intentionally thrown into an area not occupied by an eligible offensive receiver. There's a caveat to that. There's a caveat to this one. A pass intentionally thrown incomplete to save loss of yardage or to conserve time. There's a caveat to that. Here it is. The exception for that is it is illegal to conserve time by intentionally throwing the ball forward to the ground immediately after receiving a direct hand-to-hand snap. We know that as what? The spike. Right. But for that to be legitimate, the quarterback has to receive that snap in a direct hand-to-hand. It can't be shotgun to him. And he has to immediately throw that ball to the ground. All right, and that's legal.
Can't take a step.
All right, so the penalty for any one of the 5 illegal passes, those, is a loss of 15 yards, and the down is counted in each and every case. True or false? False. That's what makes that false. Not always 15 yards. Illegal forward passes, Articles 2A, B, and C. You got a signal 35, which is your illegal forward pass, illegal pass. That's a 5-yard penalty. Your intentional grounding for Article 2, D, and E, that's signal 36, which is different than 35, of course. And that's 5 yards plus the loss of down. If the penalty for an illegal forward pass is accepted, measurement is from the previous spot, true or false?
False.
That's where we take that measurement from. See the, if the penalty for an illegal forward pass is accepted, measurement is from the spot of such forward pass, which is what we know as the end of the run. And what's the distance penalty on that? Illegal forward pass. 5 yards. Right, and it may come with a loss of down. So if the offended team declines the distance penalty, it's the choice of he has the choice of having the down counted at the spot of the illegal or incomplete forward pass, or if the illegal forward pass is caught or intercepted, of having the ball put in play as determined by the action which follows the catch. All right, so let's pull it all together. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
There's a loss of down every time.
No.
Let's see, it may come with it. What would be the circumstance it wouldn't be a loss of down?
Okay, well,
Change of possession.
yeah, if it was change of possession and B through a forward pass, that's an illegal forward pass. It would not come with a loss of down penalty on that case.
Same as a fourth down, that was an illegal forward pass.
Right, yeah, okay, good, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it says, on a fourth down, where there's an illegal forward pass, foul committed, that also would not come with a loss of down penalty. All right, let's try to pull it all together here. So here's your legal forward pass. It's from in or behind the neutral zone. Very simple, legal forward pass. Legal forward passes are after team possession has changed during the down. It's a pass from beyond the neutral zone. A pass intentionally thrown into an area not occupied by an eligible offensive receiver. Pass intentionally thrown to save loss of yardage or to conserve time. And again, it is legal to conserve time by intentionally throwing the ball forward to the ground immediately after receiving direct hand snap, that is the spike. And any second or subsequent passes thrown during the same down. Those are your illegals. Wish I had a way of telling you to remember that, but you just have to know it. And you'll probably know it when you see it. When an illegal forward pass touches the ground, the ball becomes dead immediately. True or false?
True.
When a legal forward pass touches the ground, the ball automatically becomes dead. True or false? Right. All right, so forward passes both illegal and legal. It is incomplete and the ball becomes immediately dead when the pass touches the ground or goes out of bounds. It's also incomplete when a player in the air possesses the pass and alights so that his first contact with the ground or with anything other than a player or a game official is on or outside the boundary. Those are also incomplete passes. All right, true or false? Pass eligibility is not a factor when an illegal pass is thrown. True. Absolutely. Pass eligibility only applies to illegal forward passes. And here are your eligible player pass receivers, players who are eligible. Okay, so you got all your A players are eligible by position and number, including those who, at the time of the snap, are on the ends of their scrimmage line or legally behind the line, possible total of 6, and are numbered 1 through 49 or 80 through 99. And the exception is, of course, when they're in A is in a scrimmage kick formation. And all A players become eligible whenever B touches a legal forward pass. Remember that. And then all B players are eligible to receive a pass too. Remember that. Because there's going to be a little quiz on that later. All right. A player who was eligible at the start of the down could become ineligible during the down due to some action by the player, such as going out of bounds. True or false?
So once he runs out, what are you saying?
He's got to immediately return.
He has to what?
Immediately return.
Immediately come back in?
Yeah.
He can run out of bounds?
Well, he's forced out of bounds.
It might be something else, just that part of it.
Forced out.
Well, he doesn't have to be forced. He can actually.
If he runs out on his own, comes back in, it's not eligible, but it is illegal.
No, if he steps out on his own, and steps back in, then you got a foul. If it's a foul.
Point of clarification, all right, I may have told you something wrong.
Clarification.
Yeah, if the player steps out of bounds on his own accord, and he comes back in, to participate in the play, that's illegal participation.
He's still eligible. It's still eligible.
He's still eligible to catch it,
Yeah, still
but if he
eligible.
does, he can get it.
But it can be illegal.
It could be something else, right?
He's eligible at the start of the down, he's eligible
Throughout
throughout
the
the down.
down. That's the point I was trying to make.
You get what he's saying?
No.
Okay.
There was too many people.
We'll explain to you.
All right,
All right, we got
say it
a
again.
rookie's trying to learn something here, so let's
Say it
not try
again
to
for
confuse
him.
him.
You good?
Sir?
Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, please, go ahead. Yeah, you wanna do this?
Get it
I'm
done.
doing Rule 9, so what you have in this case is you have a receiver who intentionally goes out of bounds.
Okay.
Okay, so he is now when he comes back in the field of play, he's now committed illegal participation. That is a 15-yard penalty for illegal participation. He is still able to catch the ball. So if he goes downfield, the quarterback throws it to him, he catches it, he's still eligible to do that. So you do not have illegal touching, which is a 5-yard loss of down penalty. It's a different foul. He's committed a foul by coming back in, but it's a different foul than what Smitty's talking about here. Okay? So you've got a player that has done something illegal, but what he has done is committed a different foul than what we're covering in Rule 9. Is that? So in this case, if a lineman touches pass, he hasn't got this far yet, I'm trying to cut in half. Lineman touches the ball, you have a 5-yard illegal touching, loss of down penalty. Yeah.
That's ineligible.
That's
So
enough.
now those-
Because he's not eligible to catch it.
Because he's not able to catch it.
Right.
By rule, he's not able to catch the ball. No, he's not able to touch the pass, legal or pass. What we're talking about there with the receiver is somebody who steps out of bounds,
On his own.
comes back in, he's committed what we call illegal participation.
Is that a foul?
It is a foul.
That's 50-yard penalty.
It's a
Play still
different,
goes on.
play still goes on, it's a different type of foul.
Do force that one down.
If I'm running next to Sam, and Sam's a lot bigger than me and pushes me out of bounds, and I come right back in, then that's fine. I have not committed a foul.
Yeah, that's
You
not
still
illegal
can
And I can
participation,
still go catch the ball.
and he can still catch
That's
the
what
ball.
rule says.
Because when the ball is snapped, if I'm the receiver, and the ball is snapped, and I meet number requirements and say I'm a receiver, and that ball is snapped, I am able to catch the ball, no matter what happens
That's it.
during the play. I'm still able to catch the
You're an
ball.
eligible receiver.
Yes. I may do something else illegal,
Right.
that's a foul, but I am able to catch the ball during that entire play.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Very good. Thank you, Doc.
So
Appreciate
once
that.
he comes back inbounds, that's where you drop your flag, when he comes back inbounds.
Yeah, that's the
Keep the
spot.
play going.
But that's
That's
school
something else,
nine.
that's something else. Justin's looking
Yeah.
at. They're just
Dan
looking at what
got,
he
you got
teaches.
rule 9. Dan got that.
Yeah, he
Oh,
got it.
oh, he got rule 9. Okay. Hey. Yeah.
What he teaches.
Doc said, get off this territory.
All right.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing.
So any player who's eligible to see what Doug was saying?
Come on, guys, come on, guys.
All right, listen up, listen up. We're almost there. 60 more to go. We're almost there. All right, a player who is eligible at the start of the down remains eligible throughout the down, just what Mr. Hudson was trying to say, or said very eloquently. All right, so what about the ineligible receivers the doc just talked about there? So it's Rule 7512. Ineligible A players may not advance beyond the expanded neutral zone on a legal forward pass play before a legal forward pass that crosses the neutral zone is in flight. If B touches the pass in or behind the neutral zone, this restriction is terminated. An ineligible is not illegally downfield if at the snap he immediately contacts B lineman and the contact does not continue beyond the expanded neutral zone. That's kind of muddy, so this situation will clear it up a little bit for you. So before A1 throws a pass beyond the neutral zone, A2 contacts lineman B1 on his line of scrimmage and drives him back 4 yards. If that were to happen, that would be an offensive pass interference by A2 because he has driven B1 beyond the expanded neutral zone. Simply put, blocking downfield. That's how I learned it from the coaches back then. All right, here's that quiz I was telling you about. Thank you for your answer. What is the maximum number of eligible receivers you can have during a scrimmage down? The maximum number, think about it. Think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. What is the maximum number of players you can have, or maximum number of eligible receivers? Listen up. Come on, guys, give me a break, man.
Come on, guys.
All right, what's the maximum number of eligible receivers you can have during a scrimmage down? Who said 22? 22. The answer is 22. Here's why. All your B players are eligible, and all the A players can become eligible when B touches a legal forward pass. 11 and 11 is 22 all day long.
That was something.
Wasn't that a test question?
All right.
Can and wait.
Forward pass interference can occur beyond or behind the neutral zone. True or false? Only beyond. Pass interference restrictions only apply beyond the neutral zone and only if the legal forward pass untouched by B in or behind the neutral zone crosses the neutral zone. That's when you have your forward pass interference. All right. Here's your signals for forward pass interference. And it is forward pass interference if any player of A or B is beyond the neutral zone, interferes with an eligible opponent's opportunity to move toward, catch, or bat the pass. That's pass interference. Forget that? I'll tell you why in a minute. And the penalty for your illegal forward pass is a 15-yard penalty. You do signal 33. If the pass interference by either player is intentional, his team shall be penalized an additional 15 yards, signal 27. Bonus question, where do you take that 15 yards from? Exceeding spot.
Question, that one, is it forward pass interference with, when he tries to interfere with an eligible opponent, opportunity to move forward, catch, or bat the pass? Is that while the ball is in flight, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So, when he's sitting there, you know,
Right.
like waiting for him to break, he can do whatever he needs to do, but once the ball is in the air,
Yeah.
he can, then it becomes pass interference.
And pass interference restrictions commence or begin when the ball is in flight for
They have
A.
holding before that. Grabbing, it could be holding as well.
Right, yeah,
Still take grabbing.
and that's not for B.
That's all that means.
What you said?
Smitty,
We,
Are you gonna tell us why you crossed that out?
Ken,
Yeah,
Yes, again.
Smitty, in this one right here, where you've got a,
listen up, got a question on the floor.
if you have an intentional pass interference, you can get the 15 and possibly another 15. And that's an unsportsmanlike. Now, is that an unsportsmanlike one on the player, and then if he gets another one, he would be ejected?
Yeah.
So you do, everybody would have to,
Yeah.
if you're gonna
That's a
do
very
this,
good point.
everybody would have to write down the name
That's-
of the player in case he gets another unsportsmanlike.
Very important mechanic that you want to do is get everybody together, let them know about that in sportsmanlike, the number of the player who that sportsmanlike was placed on, and then you record that.
And then when he
because-
says you suck, then you kick him out of the game.
Right, and then when he says, when he gives you his opinion about your call that you just made, that'll be his second one.
Can we get an example? To me, all pass interference is intentional. How do we get to intentional pass interference? What does that look like?
Don't call it.
Tackling it?
Tackling before the ball is there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
By definition, pass interference is intentional anyway. You can't have accidental interference. By intentional means, I know he's gonna catch the ball, I'm just gonna tackle before it gets there. 43 years, I've never seen it.
I see that a
Didn't
lot.
they just put that rule in?
I've
I
never
never
seen
seen
it.
the call.
No, that's been in there for several years.
Come on, guys, get the
Okay.
comments, come on, let's, come on, get ready.
All right. Good discussion, good discussion.
I never seen
All right, the reason I had crossed out that portion of the pass interference rule is because of 2017 new rule change that we got regarding face guarding, we call it, Rule 7510. It removes the non-contact face guarding from the pass interference restriction. So that's no longer, face guarding is no longer a pass interference call. A1, and let me give you this scenario. A1 or B1 is in a position to catch or intercept a forward pass beyond the neutral zone. I should have just went with one A or B, but okay, so we're talking about both of them. An opponent who is in the vicinity turns his back to the ball. The opponent directs his attention to either A1 or B1, waves his arms to block the vision of the potential receiver or the interceptor, but does not make contact. Last year, that would have been pass interference. This year, it is not.
Can you blow up that picture of Smith?
No.
It's the only one I can find too. I'm sorry. I didn't even want to put Cowboys.
We just don't wanna see Green Bay no more.
We don't want to see that mess.
If that happens, no foul, no foul.
Oh, well, I thought I would ask. Trying to learn something.
All right, B3 gets in the path of a receiver A4 without making any contact. B3 presence results in either A4 slowing down to avoid contact, or B, A4 initiating contact in an effort to reach the ball. What would you call?
Let him play.
You wouldn't call a foul on A? No foul in A, but on B, there's a foul by A4 for the offensive pass interference. Because A4 initiated contact in an effort to reach the ball. That's pass interference. That ball's in the air, it belongs to anybody. So if A interferes with B's opportunity to catch and possess that ball, it's going to be a pass interference DPI. OBI.
You said that.
Right. B's, the ball's in the air. You find that at 7510A. All right. So illegal forward pass fouls, the penalty and their enforcement spots. The enforcement spots, I always have to think hard about these things. Because usually, you know, I'm the one talking to the referee about where the foul is going to go from. And so the foul, say the foul is a pass after the team possession has changed during the down. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to start, the enforcement spot's going to be from the end of that run. If the pass from beyond the neutral zone, that's a 5-yard penalty, and it's a loss of down. And that's going to go from the end of the run. Illegal forward pass, where the quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage before he releases that ball. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. And that's where, you know, you always try to drop your flag as close to where he released that ball from, where his foot was when it was beyond that line of scrimmage. Pass intentionally thrown into an area not occupied by an eligible receiver. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it's also a loss of down. And that's also penalized from the end of the run.
Are these the end of the runs, assuming that was an incomplete pass?
Well, yeah, right, from where the quarterback released the ball.
Illegal forward pass, it's going to come back to the spot, but that's not, so the enforcement spot is the spot.
No, it is legal to spike the ball. Or any second or subsequent forward passes during the same down, that is a 5-yard penalty, loss of down, and that too is penalized from the end of the run. Forward pass interference fouls, penalty enforcement spots, restrictions apply only to a legal pass, untouched by B, that are in or behind the neutral zone, which crosses the neutral zone, and interference may occur only beyond the neutral zone. So the foul is A hinders B, right, to get that ball. That's a 15-yard penalty. It's a previous spot foul. All right? All right. So you go back to the previous spot, mark up that 15 yards. Now, the restrictions on this penalty starts with the snap on this one. Now, if B commits a pass interference call against A, that also is a 15-yard penalty. That also is a previous spot foul. However, their restrictions start when the ball hits the air, when the ball is released. So you want to keep that in mind, you know, the status of the ball when the foul occurs. Intentional pass interference can be an additional 15-yard penalty, and that is a succeeding spot foul. So if that player, to address your question, if that player were to catch the ball and his opponent was hit with a intentional pass interference, at the end of that receiver's run is where you would take that 15-yard penalty from. Where's my? All right, the ineligible receiver downfield, just touched on this a little bit. The penalty and enforcement spot for that, you got an ineligible downfield, that's a 5-yard penalty. It's going to be a previous spot foul. All right, so this is an ineligible A player may not advance across the expanded neutral zone before that legal forward pass, which crosses the neutral zone, is in flight, untouched by B, that's in or behind the neutral zone. So there's a lot to consider when you're looking at an ineligible receiver downfield. All right. Any questions on ineligible downfield? Illegal touching by an ineligible downfield. All right, so you got the lineman who's down there and the ball hits him. Illegal touching by the ineligible receiver. Number 67 down there. That's a 5 yards and loss of down. That is a basic spot foul. And the forward pass A forward pass batted, muffed, or caught by ineligible downfield, ineligible A player who is behind, in, or beyond the neutral zone. That's where you got your ineligible. Now, the basic spot is, I was gonna try to explain it, but yeah, one thing to determine the basic spot, you kind of want to consider anything that may have happened during the down. That's going to be what your basic spot is. And I'll just read that for you verbatim here so I don't screw it up. All right, basic spot, and you can get this at 10.3.4, Article 1. If a foul occurs during the down, the basic spot is determined by the action that occurs during the down. This is the basic spot for penalty enforcement. That's what your basic spot is.
In layman terms, it means whether or not it's a pass, play, or running play.
Right.
Right, okay. See, if I would have said that, it wouldn't come out that eloquent. So, that's good. See?
Smitty, I don't know if we mentioned that ineligible men can go beyond the neutral zone if they're maintaining contact with a defensive player up to 2 yards.
He said expanded. He said
That's
expanded.
expanding neutral zone.
Yeah, he covered, he covered. Good job, Smitty.